How do you like my garbage truck? This truck is in honor of Kamala and Joe Biden.
Hello, Squirrel Tribe. How's everybody doing? So I'm sure you guys have seen that already, and if not, here's your first look at Donald J. Trump in his garbage truck that he purchased after Joe Biden decided to make the comment that Donald Trump and all of his supporters are basically garbage. There's been a whole lot going around the internet the last 24 hours after Joe Biden called Donald Trump supporters trash, garbage, floating garbage, whatever else. And the fact that Donald Trump immediately went out and bought a garbage truck, put his logo on that thing, and then rode around in it, while Vivek Ramaswamy and Benny Johnson rode around in another garbage truck, is absolutely hilarious to me. People are like, oh, this must have been staged ahead of time. He must have known what was going to happen, because you can't get a garbage truck and do all that fast. Like, it's not possible. If you have Donald Trump money, you can get anything done as fast as you want to. He heard what Joe Biden said. He immediately picked up a phone and said, buy me a garbage truck. And he said, and get somebody else to put my logo on it. Get me a vest and let's go. And that's what he did. And I love petty humor. Like, it's the best thing in the world to me. Now, there are a lot of things we need to discuss today. One of them being Kamala Harris. Another one being ChatGPT and its blatant lies. Another one being the lithium battery plant that has gone up in massive flames and what that means for everything. Lots of stuff going on here. The first thing I do want to mention to you is I have ChatGPT because I'm just curious what it's going to tell me every single day. I ask it a random question and I like to see, like, what are the odds it's going to lie to me today? So the first question I asked ChatGPT this morning, I said, who was Kamala Harris married to? Right? And it says Kamala Harris was not married to anyone. She is married to Douglas Emhoff, an attorney from the United States. There are no records of her having any other marriage. I was like, all right. I said, who did Kamala Harris divorce in 2004? Because there was talk of her divorcing somebody in 2004. And it says, this is what I need you guys to hear. No, there's another one first. Hold on, I'm out of order. I need you to hear the other one that's out of order first. Wait 1 second, y'all. Screenshots. I said, how many times has Kamala Harris been married? And it says, Kamala Harris has been married twice. All right. Kamala Harris has been married twice. Her first marriage was to attorney Doug Emhoff, who she married in 2014. She was previously married to her first husband, who she divorced in 2004. So then I was like, all right, well, if you're not going to tell me who she was married to, who did she divorce in 2004? And it says Kamala Harris divorced her first husband, fellow attorney Doug Emhoff, in 2004. However, it's important to clarify that Doug Emhoff is her current husband, whom she married in 2014. Her first marriage was to a man named Willie Brown, a prominent California politician. And you guys can see here, this is ChatGPT that is completely inaccurate, completely wrong, completely false. And there are people who put all kinds of stock in ChatGPT. I will ask it questions all the time. 50% of the time, it is blatantly wrong. And the reason we know this is wrong is thanks to good old Candace Owens, who has done the work for us. So I have it here. I looked it up on one of her videos, and she is talking about the fact that she looks like she got married in 1984 to somebody in Reno, Nevada, somebody named Philip J. Henderson from Michigan. And because she's like, who really waits until they're 50 years old to get married for the first time? I'm sure plenty of people do it. I have no problem with whatever age you decide to get married, or if you never get married. Same thing with kids. Whatever age you have kids, or if you never have kids, that's a personal choice on you. But she says, you know, if she was married before, why would she hide her marriage? Why would she not tell anybody about it? You know, but then she's saying that no, people are not Christians, I would say, don't really hold the sacrament or the sacrament of marriage. And Kamala Harris has been going into numerous churches. Hello, sorry, I'm on the steering wheel here. Kamala Harris has been going into numerous churches lately and having conversations with the congregation and pretending that she's a preacher in the pulpit, but I don't know that she's actually religious at any point in her life. Has she actually been religious? It was just interesting. So this is going to be word for word what Candace Owens spoke about. She says, People get divorced all the time. Why hide this? Why hide a marriage? There would have to be something very big about her spouse that she wouldn't want us to know. Maybe who he is, maybe like he suggests, it's because he's not a citizen, or there's something about her citizenship. That's a question mark. Like I said, I don't know, but I'm curious. It has my attention. So I decided to actually run her name and see if there was ever, or maybe there's more than one previous marriage, who knows? I actually never even thought to take this angle, and I decided to look into it to see if I could find any hits on a marriage between Kamala and somebody else. And I did come across something very interesting. And like I say, she says the same thing. Now, I want you to take this with a grain of salt. There could, of course, be another Kamala Devi Harris who resided in California. It's possible. I've looked up my own personal name numerous times, and there's probably like 100 of me out there somewhere. We're all different. None of us look the same. No doppelgangers with the same name. But she says here, we did come across a Kamala Devi Harris who applied for a marriage certificate on April 29th of 1984. So our Kamala would have been 20 years old. I'm going to show you that document, which she then shows in her video, right? It's blurred because they had to pay to get it. And she says, she says, what it shows is a marriage between a Kamala D. Harris and a Philip J. Henderson, which took place in Reno, Nevada. What we know from this document thus far is that the Kamala that is listed, Kamala D. Harris, was a resident of California, and that her husband's residence is listed as Michigan. That is literally all we know. And she goes, there could be a circumstance where there's another Kamala D. Harris who was living in California and got married, but this is all the information they have, and she's trying to find more. Now, I tried to dig as deep as humanly possible to find stuff. There's a Philip J. Henderson who's a doctor in Michigan. There's a Philip J. Henderson who's also a doctor in Sewanee, Georgia. There's all these Philip Hendersons around, and I can't find any concrete evidence of her having been married to one, but those rumors circulate for a reason. Those rumors that Kamala Harris had been married way before anything else, those rumors are there because there's generally speaking some little baby grain of truth to some rumors that you hear, whether it's been, fully blown out of proportion or whatever. Maybe she got a marriage certificate and never got married. Maybe she was married for 24 hours and got it annulled. Maybe she got married to give somebody who was an illegal citizenship, or maybe she got married to get legal citizenship from, getting married. Who really truly knows, right? I just thought it was very interesting that is something that even Candace Owens was looking into, because a lot of people have been talking about Kamala Harris in a previous marriage, and even ChatGPT was like, no, she was married twice, but then it counted Willie Brown as a husband. No, Willie Brown was married to somebody else, and she was the side chick. Kamala Harris was the side chick to Willie Brown. And when it said that Doug Emhoff was her first husband that she divorced in 2004, well, that's not accurate either. He was married at the time to somebody else. I mean, he was banging his nanny and getting her knocked up, but that wasn't Kamala Harris. That was a completely different chick. And then he was dating somebody who he was like smacking around, but again, still not Kamala Harris, completely different chick. Just very interesting that ChatGPT is like, no, there's two husbands, but we're going to completely mess up all the information regarding the first one and only get Doug Emhoff's name right. Just going to leave that with you the way it is, because I thought that was interesting the way ChatGPT was doing that. Now, another thing I want to mention to you guys is the White House, bless them, decided to bring Joe Biden out for the Halloween celebration at the White House. And for some reason, his handlers thought it would be a really good idea to let him get near children, little bitty children who can't fend for themselves, and mothers who obviously don't care enough about their children to keep them away from gropey, sleepy Joe. And you have him nibbling on children. There's two pictures like this of him chewing on random little kids. And this is the most disturbing thing I'm ever going to say in my entire life. And I'm fully aware of how disturbing it is. But when I see him and I see him near children, it's the kind of thoughts that I have, because I feel like that's who he is. My thought was, out of everywhere you could bite that child, why would you do it where your nose is in their crotch? That was my thought. And I was like literally vomit in my own mouth at even the thought of it. But I don't put it past Joe Biden at all. We've seen him sniff the hair of children. We've seen him kiss on the neck of a little girl. We've seen little girls and little boys who just do not want to be near him, and he has the tendency to just touch all over them. I know that adults have a tendency to want to nibble on cute little babies. I used to nibble on my daughter all the time, her little fat wrists and her little chunky little hands and her little fat toes and her little fat thighs and whatever else. That's my kid. That's a little bit different than this man, the technically current president of the United States walking up to some random child and some random woman who neither one of them knows at all, and nibbling on them in that kind of fashion. That is way too intimate to be doing. I don't even know if that's the right word, but either way, no. Why they let that man do that, I'm not quite sure. It was just gross. I wanted to share that with you guys so you could see how incredibly gross that is. Oh, listen, there's a lot going on in this country right now. We have a week from today. I think it's a week from today, November 5th, and open voting starts for the president of the United States between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. But not just Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. You got to remember who you're getting with each of them. With Donald Trump, you get J.D. Vance. And J.D. Vance, oh man, I love me some J.D. Vance. Kamala Harris, though, you get Tim Walz. You get a man who doesn't know his ass from his elbow, who thinks that boys need tampons in their bathroom, who thinks that children should be able to get gender reassignment surgery at the age of 8 without telling their parents, who thinks that starting a gay pride parade with a bunch of little children wearing gay pride paraphernalia and little bitty skirts is the way to go. The same man who has been to China like 33 times for unapparent reasons and on what kind of budget, I don't actually understand that, who has now been accused of sexual abuse against 3 accusers so far. Whether they are real or not, it has come out that there have been 3 accusers. We've talked about it numerous times over here. Sexual abuse against younger children while he was a teacher, and they were all male students. So not just sexual abuse, but like gay sexual abuse. I don't know if that makes it worse or any different, but it is what it is. Now you have information coming out about him having some sort of affair with a CCP, like a high up in the Chinese political party, whatever, one of their daughters. That daughter then wanting to commit suicide because of Tim Walz leaving China or whatever else. So much going on. What does J.D. Vance have? I don't think there's any skeletons that they're throwing out of a closet when it comes to J.D. Vance. Not at all. But everything with Tim Walz is just open the door, out the closet, open the door, out the closet. I'm waiting till the day where Tim Walz opens the door and comes out of the closet, because that's going to happen one of these days. That man is fruitier than a piece of, apple or whatever. But anyway, so let's get back to what we're talking about. There is 2 different, okay, here it is. So Raw's Alerts, I don't know if you guys have seen them on X before. They posted up this video. Look at this. Do you see this massive fire? This is a major fire that broke out at a recycling lithium battery plant, triggering massive explosions leading to a mandatory evacuation. This is in Fredericktown, Missouri. It says here that the fire departments rushed to the scene of a major fire at a lithium battery recycling plant. This was yesterday evening, okay? The blaze, which broke out at a 225,000 square foot facility owned by Critical Mineral Recovery, led to shelter-in-place advisories and mandatory evacuation orders in the surrounding area. According to its website, the company uses this facility to recycle lithium-ion battery materials from battery manufacturers, automotive OEMs, battery dealers, recyclers, and processors worldwide, describing it as one of the largest lithium-ion battery processing facilities in the world. All plant workers have been safely accounted for with only minor injuries reported. But y'all, this is huge. Now, the reason this is extremely important, in my personal opinion, is because of everything that's going on right now in regards to lithium. Everything with the mountains in North Carolina where Hurricane Helene happened to go through, and in Asheville, those in the areas around there where there is lithium underground. And we know for a fact that in September, right before Hurricane Helene hit, you had these companies trying to get control of the land so they could get to the underground, so they could get to the lithium. Same thing in, what other state was it? Arizona? Arkansas. Crap. It's one of the 2, Arizona, Arkansas. One of the 2. Also, lots of lithium. Like, this is a huge thing that's going around. And now for this to randomly explode and go up in flames, it's very suspicious to me when lithium has been in the news extensively for the last couple of weeks. But at the same time, this is not surprising to me. You guys see how many Teslas, which are run off lithium batteries, How many of them caught randomly caught fire while in garages during like Hurricane Milton or even Hurricane Helene, when salt water or something would hit them and because they're underneath, and then the car would burst into flames, the whole house is on fire because of the lithium battery. How many batteries or cell phones were exploding on airplanes because of the batteries in them? When you see something like this, and the problem is a regular fire truck with water is not going to be able to put out these fires. That's why fire trucks these days carry these big, massive blanket things. So if your EV catches on fire, they now blanket it with something to help put out the flames, because water is not going to do it. This fire is going to rage on for a very long time. It's going to cause a lot of problems, a lot of issues. And lithium batteries and everything else around it, there are chemicals in there as well. So the people in this area, this is a very East Palestine, Ohio kind of situation, in my opinion, with these toxic fumes that are being released, and they have no idea what it's going to do to the people surrounding them. But I am always curious on, was this intentional or was this accidental? We saw over the last couple of years how many places were just going up in flames, food processing plants and recycling plants and things like that. We talked about over here a lot. And now suddenly you have one of the biggest lithium battery plants in the entire world catching on fire, going up in flames. That's a very big deal. I will be keeping an eye on that. I wanted to bring it to your attention because it is such a big deal. Now also, in North Carolina, we were just talking about, they had a ton of linemen there, you know, the guys to help with like the electricity and stuff. North Carolina linemen have gone on strike in Asheville after weeks without pay. Let me explain to you right now. Kamala Harris has been giving hundreds of millions of dollars to Ukraine and to Indonesia, and tons of money going out to other countries since Hurricane Helene hit, yet our linemen can't get paid. The mainstream media, they're saying, has censored this, but this is video of these linemen who are like, you know, we're not going to be able to keep doing this. We've been here for weeks, because you guys, I'm sure, saw a lot of video of the people, the linemen, just hundreds in a line going down the freeways, or even staged, like all set up in one place right before the hurricane hit certain areas or right afterwards. And they've been gone for weeks trying to get everything back in working order in North Carolina, and they're not getting paid. Now, a lot of these are supposed to be getting paid through FEMA and through the help that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris said they were going to give to the people that are out there trying to get the electricity back, who are trying to help the people of North Carolina and surrounding states and areas, right? And they haven't gotten anything. You cannot continue to work for free. So now, not only do you already have the people in North Carolina, especially the Asheville and surrounding areas, the mountains there, you have them without power for weeks on weeks. It's over a month at this point, and people are still without power, without some place to live. And these people cannot continue working for free. So not only are they going to feel guilty as hell for leaving these people, they're also pissed at the same time, because they've been working and they're not getting paid. They have to worry about their family, their bills, everything else. It's an entire fustercluck, we'll go that way. And Kamala Harris does not care. Instead of paying attention to what's going on in our country as the actual sitting, acting vice president right now, instead she's out on campaign trails with celebrities and music artists and everything else, and having beers with Gretchen Whitmer and whatever else, instead of paying attention to what is going on with the citizens of this country. She's telling you go out and vote for her in a week and she'll do everything she can to make things right. Ma'am, you are in office right now. You have had 4 years to make things right. You've had a month to make North Carolina right, to get this going. And instead, you've been on a campaign trail playing whatever and pretending like you give two shits about the American people. And everybody can see every single day that you do not give a crap about American people. Look, Donald Trump had a sit down podcast with Joe Rogan a couple days ago, right? And it got, like millions of views, like immediately millions of views. Kamala Harris had a town hall with Anderson Cooper, son of Gloria Vanderbilt, with CNN, a town hall, barely any views, still important, and people paid attention. Then she went on the Shay Shay podcast barely any views. But when you go try to find any Kamala Harris interview or podcast or whatever, comes up immediately, whether it's on YouTube, whether you're looking for clips on TikTok, Instagram, just Google in general, comes up immediately. You try to find the Joe Rogan podcast with Donald Trump, nothing, crickets. It shows you little clips, little blurbs, but it's almost impossible to find the entire 3-hour podcast with them. Then this morning, JD Vance went and did the podcast with Joe Rogan. He was there for 4 hours. When Joe Rogan offered it to Kamala Harris, she was like, well, I'll do it if you come to me in Houston. And he was like, well, no, like, it's a podcast. I have the whole setup and, you know, everybody comes here. I would like you to come here and let's do it just like we do with everybody else who's on the podcast. And her campaign are like, no, we'd rather you come to Houston and we'll do it for maybe like an hour. And Joe Rogan's like, listen, I don't want a time frame on this. I want it to be a natural flowing conversation, which we all know Kamala Harris cannot do at all. If it's not scripted or edited, she cannot do it. She should not do it. Because every time she opens her mouth to speak without a script or off the cuff, she sounds even stupider than she does with the script. But JD Vance was like, I'll do it. If Kamala's not going to do it, I'll do it. So he went in this morning, 4 hours with Joe Rogan, right? Where it's not, you know, we're taking breaks, we're editing this, we're doing any of this kind of stuff. We're just going to sit here for 4 hours and have a conversation. And JD Vance said, you know what's funny? My one sit down with Joe Rogan has a longer time frame than every single interview, podcast, whatever that Kamala Harris has done throughout the entire campaign trail, added up. His one trumps, all of hers combined, because she can't do it. She cannot sit down and just have a conversation the way you and I are having a conversation right now. If I were to say, Kamala Harris, come here, do a live stream with SquirrelTribe, just sit here and have a conversation, shoot the shit, talk about what's important, whatever else, crickets for Kamala. She would not be able to do it because she doesn't have any original thoughts in her head. She doesn't have any knowledge about what's actually going on in this country because she does not care. She doesn't have any knowledge about how to fix this country because she does not care. Because if she actually cared, we would not be in the situation that we are in this country. It would not have gone this far. You have Joe Biden sitting there saying that Kamala Harris and him have been, 50-50, a team working together. Anything that he can do, she can do better, his kind of words, that she has all the power that he has and that they make the decisions together. She went on The View, said she wouldn't change a single thing Joe Biden and her have done over the last 4 years, and then expects you to believe that the next 4 years are going to be better, even though she tells us every single time she opens her mouth that she thinks that everything is fine exactly as it is, and that she has a opportunity economy plan, but can't tell you at all what it is. Whereas Donald Trump can get up on stage and tell you exactly what he is going to do to make America great again. Kamala Harris cannot do it. Cannot do it at all. Oh, here's that video of Vivek Ramaswamy and the garbage truck that he was in, which again, I just think petty is absolutely amazing and I'm here for it 100%. Just absolutely love it. The left is throwing shade at Donald Trump, of course. They're like, well, he doesn't have a CDL and he doesn't have the ability, to be able to do this. It's illegal. Well, he's also in the passenger seat, okay? And he's not actually going around and picking up garbage in his truck. So lefties, have a seat. Y'all sound stupid. So the other thing I wanted to point out to you guys here, this is on a ballot in, what state is this? No, that's not right. Never mind, guys. That one is incorrect. That's incorrect. I don't want to show you that one. Oh, I have seen this one though. So there's a landowner facing a huge fine because he put up an 80-foot Trump Tower banner on his land. And his name is Dan Rittenhouse. He's 60, which I don't know if he's related to Kyle Rittenhouse. Like, they didn't say that. But it says here that this guy is being fined $100 the first day. The second day was $300, and each day after it's $500. That says here that they've racked up more than $3,000 worth of fines. This is from the New York Post. You see what they did there? They put this banner on there. Here where I live, well, not where I live, probably about 30 minutes away in on 30A, it's like Rosemary Beach or something here in Florida. There's a man who owns a home there, and he flies Trump banners. He had it is as tall as his 4-story house. It goes from the top floor all the way down to the ground. And it was a fight after Donald Trump got shot in the ear. There was the picture of him with his fists raised with the fight. And it said bulletproof underneath it. And he's being fined hundreds of dollars a day. And he's like, this house costs like $10 million. You think your hundreds of dollars are going to hurt me? I'm going to fly this thing as long as I want to. The banner, it caused so much traffic, people driving out there to see it, because it is is, it's a spectacle, but it's also something that you're like, you see it and you get this like sense of pride in your country and in the fact that Donald Trump is invisible almost. Like they are doing everything under the sun to take him out, whether it's like figuratively or literally. They're doing everything under the sun to make it so that he can't be president, and he is fighting back every single time. He's able to survive everything they are throwing at him. And I think it's absolutely amazing. I have a couple more things I wanted to show you guys here. If I can get back up to the top of my little list. Where'd it go? Oh, here we go. Y'all, Jennifer Aniston. I used to love Friends when I was younger. Now though, when I watch it, I'm like, it doesn't really hit the same as when I was just gullible for whatever was being shown to me on TV, right? We've talked about this before. Well, Jennifer Aniston, who has been divorced numerous times and has no kids and is kind of whatever. She posted this, and I just want to point out to you, this is what the post says here on X. 55 years old, twice divorced, no kids, millionaire who plays the same character in every movie. Her top issue is abortion. That's interesting. This is what she posted on Instagram. You guys can see this here. She says, "Hi friends. Today, not only did I vote for access to health care, for reproductive freedom, for equal rights, for safe schools, and for a fair economy, but also for sanity and human decency. Please remember that whoever you are and wherever you live, your voice matters, your vote matters. I know we don't agree on everything, and that is the beauty of this country, but good Lord, aren't you tired of this negativity towards each other? The intimidation and constant threats to those who do not think the same as the other. Let's please end this era of fear, chaos, and the attacks on our democracy, and vote for someone who will unite us and not continue to threaten to divide us. I very proudly voted for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. We are so lucky we get to vote, and this election is in our hands. We only have 1 week until Election Day, so talk to your friends, your family, your neighbors, and let's find our way back to each other with respect, common cause, and love." Jennifer Aniston, you're an effing moron. And let me explain why. I'm so tired of people saying, let's please end this era of fear, chaos, whatever. You keep using the word era because it's got a Taylor Swift, her Eras tour. So it's all, word salad combobulated together. But when you say in this era of fear, chaos, and whatever, why do you think that keeping the same people in power is going to end something if that is what's going on while they're in power? That's what's so incredibly confusing to me. You have these people standing up saying, we need to put Kamala Harris in as president so that blah, 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 blah will change. But if she's already in as vice president, why would you expect her staying where she is, just bumping up her position, is going to change what's going on? You're worried about chaos and attacks on our democracy. What attacks on democracy? What attacks on democracy are being aimed at you, Jennifer Aniston? Just out of curiosity, the attacks on we would like our borders to be safe. The fact that you don't agree with that is extremely stupid to me. The fact that you think that the abortion rights is the most important thing that's going on right now also makes you sound stupid to me. The fact that our economy is in the absolute shitter under Biden and Harris while they give away all of our money to Ukraine and Lebanon and other places, and you're worried about abortion rights, ma'am, you're like 50 something years old. The odds you're going to get knocked up this point in life, very, very small anyway. The more celebrities come out, I don't care who they are for. I don't care who you're endorsing. I don't give two craps who a celebrity endorses, whether it's Kamala Harris or Donald Trump. Your endorsement is not going to change my mind on who I am voting for. Your endorsement may, though, make it so that I never ever listen to your music again, watch your movies again, eat at your restaurants, shop in your locations, like those kind of things. Because I don't... And I know it sounds hypocritical because I'm on YouTube, but I'm not a celebrity. I'm some chick with a camera and a microphone who is always giving my opinion on everything. I'm not, a celebrity who's being paid millions of dollars to kiss the ass of a nominee for president, or Kamala Harris or Donald Trump, right? I don't think that they should be speaking on things like this. It's not one of those LeBron needs to shut up and dribble kind of moments, but it is along the lines of there needs to be a separation. And if you want to endorse somebody, do it the right way. And I don't think this is the right way. Like, I don't know how to really explain that to where it makes sense, but I don't think that celebrities and athletes and musicians should be as vocal as they are about who they're voting for if they can't give you an actual reason that's not about wanting to see a woman in the White House, this fake attack on democracy or whatever, or about abortion rights. None of them have been able to give a reason why they're voting for Kamala Harris, and none of them have been able to give a legit reason why they dislike Donald Trump. And that's where I have an issue with all of it. Listen. It's a lot. I know it's a lot. And this is a very rambly video, and I apologize for it. I had a lot I wanted to talk about. I would have preferred to do a live stream, but because it is Halloween, I know a lot of people are getting ready for it, taking kids out, trick-or-treating, getting their houses set up, whatever else. Figured this was the easiest way to do this. Tomorrow, though, y'all, we're back to live streams. But I appreciate you for being here for this. I'd like to know your thoughts and opinions on the things that we did discuss. And I'd like to leave you with this one little tidbit. How can you say you're a nation of laws if people from other countries don't have to obey your laws? The wise words of Tucker Carlson. It's a good question. One that Kamala Harris can't answer, neither can her supporters. So there's that. Listen, I love y'all. If you're going out tonight, be safe, have fun, and I'll see you guys again tomorrow.